Ready, start. As far as the decisions of this court which have been pointed out to us are concerned, the question as to whether before granting leave to institute a suit under section 92 of the court is required to give an opportunity of being heard to the proposed defendants did not arise for determination at all in those cases. Stop. As far as the high courts are concerned, they have taken different views on this question. Stop. The legislative history of section 92 of the code indicates that one of the objects which led to the enactment of the said section was to enable two or more persons interested in any trust created for a public purpose of a charitable or religious nature should be enabled to file a suit for the reliefs set out in the said section without having to join all the beneficiaries, since it would be highly inconvenient and impracticable for all the beneficiaries to join in the suit. Hence, any two or more of them were given the right to institute a suit for the reliefs mentioned in the said section 92 of the code. Stop. However, it was considered desirable to prevent a public trust from being harassed or put to legal expenses by reckless or frivolous suits being brought against the trustees, and hence a provision was made for leave of the court having to be obtained before the suit is instituted. Stop para. A plain reading of section 92 of the code indicates that the leave of the court is a precondition or a condition precedent for the institution of a suit against a public trust for the reliefs set out in the said section unless all the beneficiaries join in instituting the suit. If such a suit is instituted without leave, it would not be maintainable at all. Stop. Having in mind the objectives underlying section 92 and the language thereof, it appears to us that as a rule caution, the court should normally, unless it is impracticable or inconvenient to do so, give a notice to the proposed defendants before granting leave under section 92 to institute a suit. Stop. The defendants could bring to the notice of the court, for instance, that the allegations made in the plaint are frivolous or reckless. Stop. Apart from this, they could, in a given case, point out that the persons who are applying for leave under section 92 are doing so merely with a view to harass the trust or have such antecedents that it would be undesirable to grant leave to such persons. Stop. The desirability of such notice being given to the defendants, however, cannot be regarded as a statutory requirement to be complied with before leave under section 92 can be granted, as that would lead to unnecessary delay and, in a given case, cause considerable loss to the public trust. Stop. Such a construction of the provisions of section 92 of the code would render it difficult for the beneficiaries of a public trust to obtain urgent interim orders from the court, even though the circumstances might warrant such relief being granted. Stop. Keeping in mind these considerations, in our opinion, although as a rule of caution, court should normally give notice to the defendants before granting leave under the said section to institute a suit, the court is not bound to do so. Stop. if a fault suit is instituted on the basis of such leave granted without notice to the defendants, the suit would not thereby be rendered bad in law or not maintainable.